So I know you want to lose weight because you clicked on this video. If you are happy with your weight, and I'm not saying anyone needs to lose weight, but if you are happy with your weight, you wouldn't have clicked on this video. If this video is going to trigger you in any way, please do not watch it. I do discuss weight, weight loss, eating, food portions, calorie control, all of that. So if you are suffering with an eating disorder or trying to recover from one, click off. This is not the video for you. This video is for women, adult females. I don't think teenagers should diet. For women over 40 who want to lose weight. In this video, I'm going to give you everything I know, things that I know for a fact, things that I've tried. I am my own guinea pig. I test everything. Everything I say, I am 99.9% sure about. Of course, I can't be 100% sure. Plus, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical expert. I have studied personal training online. I've studied nutrition through becoming a keto coach. I don't believe keto is the way to go, but the ultimate thing you need to remember if you want to lose weight is that it is about the calories. I know you hear all these conflicting, confusing, especially headlines, clickbaity titles. Calories don't work. It's all a lie. You've been lied to about calories. That is just clickbait. It's there to get you to click. At the end of the day, the bottom line is,
as I understand it, and I certainly believe that calories ingested versus calories metabolized, aka calories in versus calories out, absolutely is foundational to whether or not one loses, maintains, or gains body weight.
Calories in, calories out does work. Of course it does. That is why every dietitian prescribes you a calorie controlled eating plan. That is why all these apps, MyFitnessPal, My Fat Secret, all these online calorie counters, that's why they exist, because it works. That's why every single bodybuilder and bikini competitor and anyone who does any sport where they need to get lean, lose weight, look their best, be at low body fat percentages, that is why they eat within a reduced calorie amount or in a calorie controlled way. There is no other way. You cannot eat unlimited amounts of any macronutrient and still lose weight. It's just not possible. And if it is possible, I urge you to find me the example and send it to me. I have yet to see it. Even people who are losing weight on keto, on some level, they are reducing their calories. So you usually find when people on keto say, but they don't track, they just eat whatever is keto friendly. When they were overweight and eating unlimited amounts of food, it was the McDonald's with the chips and the this and the that and the milkshake and the that. On keto, they can only have the patty and the cheese. That immediately cuts out a whole amount of calories from ordering from McDonald's. Fasting, you're cutting out calories. One meal a day, you're cutting out calories. And this has been proven over and over again. There's the guy who did the Twinkie diet. There are people who lost weight on the white rice, sugar, and bread diet. It is not about the macros, it is calories. But if you want to lose weight in a better way, in a healthier way, then you would also take into account your macros. Macros meaning your carbs, your proteins, and your fats, and you would consider that as well. But if you just want to quickly lose weight, just cut your calories. I'm not saying that that's healthy. I'm not saying that's the way to go. Don't do the Twinkie diet either. You're going to miss out on micronutrients and minerals, and it's not healthy. But there is health and there is weight loss, and the two are separate. And this video is about weight loss, but let's talk about weight loss in a healthy way. Number one, you want to construct a diet that is obviously within your weight loss calories. Let's say arbitrary figure, 1,600 calories, give or take. That would work for a lot of women. In that kind of amount of calories, you then are going to allot your protein. Personally, I say you should hit protein of about 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight. For me, who is short, small, and petite, that is around 100 grams of protein a day. This is just a ballpark figure. If I am under one day or a bit over the next day, it's not the end of the world. Don't get lost in the weeds. Don't give up. See, I couldn't do it. It's too hard. I can't do it. Give or take, give or take. You want to choose lean cuts of meat, the lean protein sources, because you don't want all the excess fat calories that come along with like streaky bacon or pre-packaged sausages or salamis. Cheese is not a protein source, it is a fat source. Peanut butter is not a protein source, it is a fat source. These things have more calories coming from fat than from any other macro. Therefore, they should be counted mainly as a fat source. Yes, there is some protein in there, but they're not a protein source. Chickpeas, yes, they have higher protein than other carbs, but they are still a carb source. Why? Because most of the calories come from carbs. The same with lentils, the same with squashes and butternut and pumpkin and all that. Whatever the food is, if you're not sure, Look at the food breakdown per 100 grams, and if the majority of the calories are coming from, let's say, the carbs, it's a carb source. If the majority of calories are coming from the fats, it's a fat source. That is how you sort of determine whether this food is a good protein or a good carb, or maybe you just want the fat, the olive oil, the avocado, the nuts and seeds and whatever. And so that is how you think about your food. Obviously, no one has to track. There's no law. I mean, we all lost weight even before tracking apps came along, but tracking does make it easier. And one of the things you need to wrap your mind around is get over the resistance to tracking. You don't need to track for the rest of your life. You just track until you are comfortable with this way of eating, until you understand, okay, when I have that, that has got that amount of protein. When I have that amount, like let's say half a cup of rice, it's got that many carbs. 100 grams of sweet potatoes got around that many carbs. That is roughly what I need in a day. That is roughly what I need for lunch. That is the value of tracking. It also gives you a nice total for the day. You can see what your meals added up to. You don't track to guilt yourself, to shame yourself, to feel bad. If it feels overwhelming, give yourself a day's rest. Another good tip for tracking is to take a day when you're not actually tracking and just play around with the app. Play around, enter foods, enter amounts, quantities, and just start to learn about the food, learn what it contains, learn which foods are the best protein sources and choices that you can make, and learn which foods would be fun alternatives, maybe not the highest in protein, but you can't get bored on a diet either. Otherwise, you will fall off the bandwagon. So think about protein, chicken breasts, fillet steak, venison, fish. These are great. What else can you do when you are bored of all of those? Could you try tofu? Do you want to try tofu? What about, what else? Chicken livers. What about shellfish? What about other protein sources that might not come immediately to mind? Spend a day Googling them. Spend a day also writing down a long, long list of carb sources that you might not have thought of. So yes, rice, everyone thinks of chicken, rice, and broccoli. Okay, we all know those. But what else can you include? There's mushrooms, there's onions, there's garlic, there's leeks, there's asparagus, there's green beans, there's Brussels sprouts, there's pak choy, there's spinach, there's tomato, there is, the list goes on and on in terms of vegetables, aubergines, brinjals, zucchinis, patty pans. Luckily, we do live in a world of an abundance of vegetables. With the fruits, personally, I would say stick to maybe 1, 2 max a day. The reason is nowadays the fruits are frankenfruits. Unfortunately, they are designed to be sweet, juicy, and they do have a lot of sugar. So also they have a lot of calories, and so it does add up. The fruits are also very big. Nowadays you get these massive apples, which is fine, but who's going to have half an apple? So either choose the smaller ones or just be aware, just have one apple. If it's grapes, a small handful of grapes. Grapes are very, very sugary. These are the kinds of things you need to keep thinking about, and that is the value of tracking. Don't be afraid of tracking. It's not there. It's not going to bite you. It's not there to get you. If you get it wrong, who cares? Tracking is all about getting a general average sort of sense of what is going on so that when you don't lose weight, you kind of can look back and see, okay, maybe I didn't track that, or I did track that, that was wrong, or you see, I've overeaten 3 days in a row, or whatever the case is. It's not a thing to shame you. It's not a judge judging you. You are tracking for yourself. This is for you. This is to benefit you. So use the tools that modern technology has given us. It's so helpful and useful. And don't do it to fatigue yourself. Do it for a short period of time, take a break. Do it for another period of time, take another break. You really can have fun with your tracking as well. And then get to know your app, whichever app you've chosen, because you can also save like your set meals, your set breakfasts. Like every day, I have 2 cups of coffee and a piece of Lindt 70% chocolate. I could save that as like a morning snack or something and just keep adding that every day instead of tracking all the milk, all the da-da-da. So it can save you time as well. Also, don't be afraid. Get yourself a food scale. They're not expensive, with a little bowl, and start to weigh your food. It has helped you track. There's no other way you can track. You can't just guess. I think that's around 100 grams of sweet potato. You just have no clue. I mean, I honestly used to think like one whole sweet potato was around 100 grams. I was shocked. It's about a small, less than the size of my palm. is 100 grams of sweet potato. You must weigh your food. And I know, again, there's resistance to doing it. Oh, this is so complicated. Do I really need to do this to lose weight? You don't. You don't. But if you're finding you're battling, then you do. And why not? These tools are available. You ladies are the ones who reach out to me and are desperate to lose weight. If weight loss is important to you, why wouldn't you do these things? You don't have to do it forever. You just do it for a certain period of time. And you need to understand calories in, calories out. Within that, the next level down, so level 1 is your energy balance, calories in, calories out. That is overarching. Get that right, you will lose weight. The next level down is to now work on your macros. And I always say protein first, 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. What that looks like could be a 200-gram steak, a chicken breast at lunch, egg and egg whites in the morning. I'll do a whole video on what 100 grams of protein in a day looks like. That's a whole separate video. But with the food tracking app, you will sort of quite easily see how that looks. Again, spend 2 hours adding protein sources in and see what comes out to 100 grams of protein. Maybe for you, it's 130, 150. Again, depends on your height, your weight, your muscle structure. It is individual. So anyway, then the next is carbs. Now, I always advocate you do what I call clean carbs, meaning the carb is mostly a carb source. You're not getting carbs and proteins and fat. Chocolate bar is not a carbohydrate. A chocolate bar is mostly fat. Yes, it's got a lot of sugar in it as well, but the majority of the calories are coming from fat. It's maybe even 50-50 depending on whether it's very dark chocolate or milk chocolate. Dark chocolate is a source of fat. When you enter that Lindt 70% dark chocolate, mostly it's fat calories. Cookies, brownies, chips, fried chips, we think that these are carbs. They are mainly a source of fat. So that's why I say go for a clean carb, which has very low fat, because then it's easy to track. You know what it is. And then you know you're combining your protein and your carbs. And inherent in those foods are fat. Every piece of meat has got some fat in it. Almost all carbs, even rice, even oats, even potato, sweet potato, any breads, of course, they've all got 1 or 2 grams, 3-4 grams of fat inherent in that food. And then as you cook, you may use a bit of fat. At the end of the day, if you see that you are very low in fat, the next day you can adjust, use a little bit more when you're cooking, add a tablespoon of some kind of oil. But for the most part, the fat just takes care of itself. Almost always, I hit around 50, maybe 60 grams of fat without really even trying. When I'm not dieting and I just eat what I call to intuition or whatever I want, I love sauces. I love mayonnaise. I love cheese sauce. I love puddings. Do you know how much fat all of those things contain? They're delicious. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you can never have them, but one does need to be mindful that 1 tablespoon of mayonnaise, some cheese sauce, it adds up very quickly. Very quickly, by midday, you would have gone over your calories for the day. And so that is fine. But if you're trying to lose weight, which is what this video is about, you need to be mindful. You need to be aware. Everything, the milk in my coffee. Do you know how that adds up? So I always estimated that I put about 50 mils of milk into my coffee. I decided the other day to use some of those measuring spoon cup things. I actually, in truth, add about 80 mils because this is a mega big mug. Look how big that is. I fill it about there to water and I do about that much milk. Turns out it's about 80 mils. It's not a problem. It's not a train smash, but again, you see how we underestimate what we eat, what we drink, how big the portion sizes are. That is why it's so important to weigh, measure, and track, especially if you are battling to lose the weight and you're just getting frustrated. Then, of course, comes the discipline. There is no other way to say it. If weight loss is important to you and you really, 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 really want it and you want to see the physical change happen, you have to stick to the diet. You just have to. There's no other way. I can't say it any other way. I can't make it easier. I can't make it better. What I can say, let me have a sip of coffee. What I can say is that your mindset needs to be in the right space so that you enjoy the process of dieting. You don't moan about it. Oh, I can't eat this and I can't eat that. Oh, everyone's eating pizza and I can't eat pizza. I do it too. I'm not saying that it's not natural to do that, but we need to take accountability, take control of ourselves and say, you know what, I've decided that I want to lose weight. No one's forcing you. Ladies, I love you just as you are. I'm sure everyone in your life loves you just as you are. No one really cares if you lose weight or not, but I know that you care. And I'm not here to judge whether you should or you shouldn't lose weight. That is a personal choice. But if you want to, you have to like put your big girl panties on and say, right, I'm choosing to avoid certain foods. I'm choosing to portion control. I'm choosing to weigh my food, to track for a period of time. I'm choosing to do these things and use these tools that are going to help me. You know, you mustn't see it like, okay, let's say I've given you a diet or you found a diet on the internet, or and now you're seeing it as somebody wagging their finger and telling you not to eat certain things. You're the one that chose the diet. You are the one that asked for the help. You're the one that wants to lose weight. So do it. And yes, it might be harder for you. Maybe you're in menopause. Maybe you are genetically predisposed to pack on a few more kgs. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I wish I could change that. I can't. I'm in perimenopause. Is it harder? I think it is. It is harder, but I still have to do the same things. Maybe I have to be a little bit more careful. Maybe I have to actually cut back on the milk in my coffee, which I may get to a point if I want to really see my ab lines, which right now I don't. It's not important. And again, weight loss is not the be all and the end all goal. It's really not that important. But for some of us, at some points in our lives, it is important. Sometimes you do want to fit into a dress for a wedding, for a party, for an event, for a reunion. Sometimes your health is at risk and you have to lose the weight. Your doctor's told you there is health implications. Your cholesterol is going up, your blood pressure is going up, you're at risk for whatever it is, diabetes. There are times when you do need to lose weight, and this is where I've realized you need the tools and you mustn't overcomplicate it. It really is as simple as eat less, move more, which I know people don't want to hear. And the reason that they don't like it is because there comes a tipping point where you can't eat less than less. Don't go below 1,000 calories. Like that would be my rock bottom. And there's only so much movement you can do before you are fatigued, before you are tired and sore and drained and hungry. So, yes, eat a bit less, move a bit more. But what I can guarantee you is that if you do have a fair amount of weight to lose, there is a lot of wiggle room for you to eat less and move a bit more. I can almost guarantee you that. Now, some people who are overweight are already exercising quite a bit, which is great because you can be overweight and healthy, particularly for those of you who exercise, in which case you just simply do need to watch your calorie intake, and that's fine. You just do it for a period of time and don't expect results overnight. I think the problem is some people tell me that they only eat, like one lady wrote to me and she said she only eats at one point in time 500 calories. That is ludicrous. That is my breakfast, basically. You cannot survive on 500 calories a day. It's like a starvation diet, which I'm not saying you can't do that. People do it. I mean, they do everything, but that is not sustainable. You will be starving by the end of a week or 2 or 3 weeks. At some point, your body is going to rebel. You're going to binge eat, and then you're going to see, it didn't work. I give up. And then you're just going to eat whatever you want. And that is the problem. It's not that diets don't work. It's not that calories in, calories out don't work. It's the way we do it and our adherence to it. And often what happens is that we want to push it faster, so we exercise more, we overtrain, we just push our calories down a bit more, like to 500 calories, which is ridiculous, for a period of time because we want the results faster. But that isn't actually the sustainable and long-term way. The sustainable way is including whole foods, including fiber-rich foods, including enough protein for satiation, for muscle repair. It really does help you lose weight. They have shown in studies that people who eat higher protein, even higher than what I'm recommending, there is no negative effect. In fact, they actually lose a little bit more fat anyway, somehow. Maybe it's because of the thermic effect of protein, which means your body has to work harder and burn a few more calories to digest that protein. But there is no harmful effects to eating a decent amount of protein. But again, lean protein, not fatty protein, not a hamburger, not a sausage, not a Vienna, not a salami, not what else do people go for? Not nuts. Nuts are not a protein source, they're a fat source. So always bear in mind that how you make up your diet, it does count. Maybe not in the short term, but for your health and to see long-term benefits, it does count. But weight loss, fat loss, which is what we really want, fat loss. And that's again why you eat more protein, is to preserve your muscle mass. Although you're not just going to like lose muscle or like, oh shit, where did my muscle go? I have yet to see that. In general, if you're keeping active, if you're doing some resistance training, you will keep your muscle, because muscle grows in response to stimulus. If you're stimulating your muscles and you're just getting, even if it is just an adequate amount of protein, your muscles will be fine. And I'm sure most of you ladies don't really care about your muscle size. You just want to lose some weight. You just want to be a bit slimmer. You just want to fit into your jeans. You just want to lose some fat. And again, fat loss. Make sure it's protein first, carbs second. Carbs come with the fiber, add in the vegetables. Vegetables are almost, not quite, but almost free food in that, you really do expend a lot of energy digesting them. There's the fiber, the cellulose, all that. You poop out a lot of it. And then there are the fats. But make sure that including those foods still stays within your calorie budget for the day. If you overeat on healthy food, again, you will gain weight. I've mentioned this example before, but there was that book called Running in Silence where she did a fruitarian diet. Eventually, it was just bananas or something like that. She gained weight because they told her to eat as many as she wanted. And of course, she was starving. I mean, her body was only eating bananas, which is ludicrous as well. And she gained weight. So you can gain weight on fruit. You can gain weight on any food. It's possible. Again, it comes down to the calories, comes down to the energy balance. And as they say, this is the law of thermodynamics. I don't even need to be a scientist or a biochemist or a doctor or PhD to know this. You can see it. You see it all the time. When people are sick and they can't eat, they lose weight. When they've got like stomach issues and they are puking their guts out, or the other end, they lose weight because they're not retaining anything. We don't need to be arguing this point. We really don't. But the quality of your calories does matter. That is the next tier. And then the third tier really is to move your body, resistance train, so that you do preserve your muscle mass. Your muscles soak up the sugar in your diet or the carbs in your diet. They hold glycogen. They are metabolically active. So at rest, if you have more muscle mass, you will burn some more calories. Bonus, why not aim for that? Ladies, you're not going to get big. You're not going to get bulky. I have been weight training for 14 years now. I'm not bulky. I don't look like a man. I've got some definition, which has taken me years and years and years to build. And I work very hard to maintain it. And with age, it's harder and harder to maintain. So don't fear the weights. Get in there. You can do body weight exercises. You can do Pilates. There are so many ways of doing what's called resistance training without doing weight training like a bodybuilder. It doesn't have to be that extreme. It can be really simple. Dumbbells at home, that would suffice. That is how you lose weight. And the last point to help you lose weight is, unfortunately, I wish you could, but you can't spot reduce. So if you want to lose weight on your thighs, you have to lose weight overall. If you want to lose weight on your belly, your butt, this back fat here, or on your back love handles, your muffin top, it has to be overall weight loss. That is the only way. The other only way to spot reduce is liposuction. That is expensive, it's painful, it's unnecessary, don't do it. I've heard that the weight can come back, so who knows whether that would even be a long-lasting solution. Look, maybe for some of you it is. That's a whole nother video. Personally, if I could spot reduce, I would have spot reduced my ankles. I've got fat ankles. I don't know why genetically that's where I store it, but that is where I store it. And that is the other thing that frustrates people, is that genetically, we all store fat in different areas. Some women you will see store a lot of fat on their arms. Reese Witherspoon comes to mind. She's got slim legs, but she's got bigger arms. I'm the opposite. I store hardly any fat on my upper body. All of it is in my legs. Go figure. Don't know why. I've never had defined legs where you can see the leg muscles, the striations, even when I was competing. It's just my body, I'm afraid. I wish I could spot reduce around my legs, around my knees, my ankles, but I can't. And genetically, I don't store that much around my belly. I do. I've got a little belly roll as we speak right now. But I know that if I reduce a bit of body fat, that would go away fairly quickly for me. For some of you, the belly will be the last place that you will see the weight go. Meaning, yes, it will shrink along with everywhere else. But if your arms are skinny, they'll get skinnier. but your belly will go down. It's just a process of getting you down to the weight where eventually you will see the weight loss everywhere. I know, it's not fair, it sucks. A lot of our fat storage is hormonal, so women obviously store it in their hips and their butts and their thighs. Men always sort of store it in their bellies and their lower backs. It's just what it is. Can we change it? No, we can't, but we can do the best that we can do. And something that is healthy for your whole system in general is healthy for your whole system, which is to say, eat a healthy diet, get good sleep. Good sleep is also fantastic in supporting your weight loss. It's not that if you sleep 9 hours, you can eat whatever you want and lose weight. I mean, that's obviously not the case. And in fact, it's also not true that if you don't get enough sleep, you can't lose weight. At the time in my life when I was the most sleep deprived as a new mother, I lost weight. Why? Because I was breastfeeding, and breastfeeding burns or uses a lot of energy. So my baby was eating, I don't know, maybe 500 calories a day out of me, and I just naturally lost weight. I didn't even try. It wasn't difficult. I wasn't sleeping well. I was eating chicken mayonnaise sandwiches every single day, but I guess it was the calorie balance. I was just burning that much more calories a day. And so again, you see examples of this play out all the time. You look at animals, you look at, like I said, people who are sick, which is not how you want to lose weight. I'm not saying that. You want to set it up to be long-term and sustainable. You want your deficit to be small so that you can keep eating this way for as long as possible. And then when you hit a wall, you hit a plateau, you just have a hungry day, you just get tired of the diet. And by the word diet, I mean eating plan, meal plan. Take a break. Take a break. Include your favorite foods. Work them into your plan so that you don't feel too restricted. With weight loss, you need to take ownership of this journey. This journey has to be yours. You've got to say, I am doing this for me and I am accountable to me. Because if you keep handing out your power to trainers, to gurus, to internet advisors, even to me, then you're never going to actually see the results you want. If you take ownership of this journey, you track, you measure, you weigh, you check in with yourself, you check your emotions so that you don't emotionally eat if possible, then you will see the results. But you need to give it a chance. You need to pick a method, a diet method that works for you. If you want to do keto, be my guest. If you want to do one meal a day, be my guest. The way I advise is different to that. But there's no it's nothing set in stone. You've got to find what you will stick to realistically. You've got to find what works with your budget, your family, your lifestyle, your exercise habits. How much time do you have? Find the things that work, stick to them, test them out. And if you don't believe me on certain things or you think another way will work better, test it out. There's no harm in testing something out for a good 3 months. Check in with yourself, weigh, measure, track, whatever it is, take photos, and decide that didn't work for me. Give yourself something new to try for 3 months. But don't stop, start from week to week, because then you will never know what worked, what didn't work, and you're going to confound the results. So if you do keto for a week and then you throw in the towel and then you eat carbs and then you do intermittent fasting and then you do one meal a day and then you do vegan and then you do the soup diet and then you just binge for a week because that wasn't sustainable, that is just too confusing and it's too scattered. Take a breath, bring it down, calm it down, pick a diet, pick a meal plan, an eating plan, stick to your calorie budget, move your body, and you will lose weight, guaranteed. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching, ladies. Bye. Bye.